It's a series so good we have to give you two lots of action every single week. Hello, welcome to the Formula Renault 2.0 Championship, the Sunday afternoon edition here on Racebot TV, streaming live on iRacing Live from Circuit Park Zandvoort, one of my favourite racetracks in the world. Our coverage will start next. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, a Sunday edition of the iRacing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. Hey, you're the fans asked for it. We thought, why not? This is what we do. We make you, the fans, happy. So welcome to Racebot TV. Welcome to iRacing Live. Will Vincent, Jake Sperry at one of my favourite racetracks in the world, Jake. This is Circuit Park Zandvoort. It's got 13 corners. This track is absolutely magnificent drive on.
Oh yes, I have to agree with you. It's a really technical circuit. You always got the car changing direction. It's either going left or going right. Never really do you have a front straightaway, except for the front straightaway that we have here. Qualifying, well, we got about a minute left, and a car who's still out on track is the number 11 of Yuho Abe now, heading down towards turns number 10 and 11. And well, he's 10th at the moment, and he has an opportunity to improve if he can just get that lap time sorted.
Yeah, some people might know Yuho Abe, of course, who once run in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. There you can see him in that number 11 machine, working himself down to turn number 12. It is Kumo corner, and then we've got ourselves Ireland right corner. That very fast final corner is actually replicated because of the fact, of course, Ireland Dyke made his name in Indy cars running on those huge super speedways. Down towards the start-finish line for Yuho Abe. Past the stripe he will come. And well, for him, 10th is all he can manage. Qualifying is pretty much all said and done. And let's run you through your starting grid for this afternoon's event. And well, you'll see now on your screen, Martin van Luitenhoort will get himself pole position by 15/100ths of a second over Graham Carroll. Then Freak Schochos in third. And Sebastian Falusa in the fourth position. Working ourselves back, Jake, you see a fantastic field here today. These guys are going to do some fantastic racing. 24 of them looking to try and get themselves the points win for this week.
Oh yes, absolutely, and there's some massive rivalries up and down your field. You look at the likes of the 1 and the 5 machine of Justin Brunner and Jamie Fluke. They have had a rivalry stretching back all the way to the Star Mazda days. And well, that 6-month to a year rivalry is going to continue today. And just remember, down at the back of your field, to just show how good this field is, we got Mr. 2K Cup himself, Philippe Lebert, only in 19th position.
Well, you know what he said to us yesterday? He doesn't like this car. He's not used to this car just yet. So we expected Philippe Lebert not to be as strong here, potentially, as some of the other drivers. But here is a wonderful look at this fantastic, beautiful, magnificent racetrack known as Circuit Park Zandvoort. I cannot say enough good things about this place. It is one of my favourite tracks to race at. It's one of my favourite tracks to commentate on as well. In fact, first iRacing broadcast I ever saw was at this exact track in what was then known as the Grand Prix World Championship Series. So here we are. Cars are lining up on the grid. They're getting themselves ready to go racing here today at Circuit Park Zandvoort, as we will be with you now every single Sunday, as well, of course, as every single Friday. You told us to, so Racesport TV Prime Time every Friday. You asked us nicely, so we'll do it again on Sunday afternoons as well. So, don't forget, 2K World Cup later on tonight. They start here with Skippies, and then they'll head themselves over to this car, the Formula Renault 2.0s, in just a couple of weeks' time. But those lights will now go on top of the iRacing gantry. We are set for 19 laps of racing here at Circuit Park Zandvoort. The tyres are smoking. Green flag in the air. We go racing. Down towards turn 1 they come. And these guys have got to survive a very difficult first couple of corners. They're 3 wide towards the rear of the field, but out front it looks as though they're all going to settle themselves down into prime position early as they work themselves now through turn 2 into that very difficult turn 3 hairpin, and it looks as though that we've got ourselves a bit of 2 wide racing, but overall fantastic start to this race here, Jake.
Oh yes, absolutely, I have to agree with you on this one. It seems that everyone's going to be line of stern as they head up through this technical back straightaway left and right, looking now at Simone Maria Marcheno right now, because he is being hounded behind by Marc Perez. And well, with all that going on, there's battling up ahead, as it looks like Jamie Fluke now under pressure from Sem Bollock Bassi there behind, as I get my words a little bit muddled up. But really, it's just so fast and ferocious here. This is the top of the top, and they're all looking to try and find a fantastic way of finding themselves through right now.
Yeah, we're on board with Sem Bollock Bassi. You can see the guys ahead of them. They are very, very close right now as they work themselves down into this. The Audi S Bollock Bassi down to the inside then of that number 5 machine of Jamie Fluke. Not going to be able to complete the pass though. Through the corner, gets himself a good run as they work themselves down now into Kumo corner on the outside. Bollock Bassi not able to do anything there. He will have to stay in line for the time being. But out front, Martin van Loozenhoorn will lead lap number 1 here. And the gap between himself and Graham Carroll is half a second.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And, well, Showhorse there is trying to find a way past Graham Carroll as well. It's not happening at the moment for him, but we do have another 18 laps, and this feels like one of the longer races in your Formula Renault 2.0 official series races. It's been noted very heavily that despite this track being a minute and a half around, it really is a track which catches people out just by how long a lap is. And you're always turning left or right. You get disorientated. You don't know where you are on the track at times. And, well, for the likes of Graham Carroll and Martin van Loozenhoorn, Apex Racing's finest right now, they are 1 and 2, just holding fort at the front of the field.
Towards the rear of the field there, you've got Lucas Gottitz, Philip Noel and Jan Sweeter, all pretty much nose to tail as they head themselves now down in towards turn number 6. This is Slovak right now, and we're on board with the driver of Jan Sweeter in the number 10, Diaz Racine. Out he will come now of turn number 7, Mulber corner. We're allowed to say that, it's an actual corner. But out front, you've still got yourself now, Yolf Thielen scrapping it out in that Phoenix Motorsports car. We go on board with him then, as he's now got himself Sebastian Fluser just a couple of tenths of a second up the road.
Oh yes, it's all going to be about this run out of this corner here, turn number 12, into turn 13, and then the run down into turn number 1. This is what everyone is going to be trying to gear up their car to do correctly, because there isn't really too much of an overtake. You can see moving hard to the right-hand side there is Sebastian Falosa, and, well, you're going to have to say Tien's going to go side-by-side into turn number 1. They're going to be staying side-by-side. There's contact between the two of them, and that means that Thielen is going to now fall back into the clutches of Brunner and Fluke behind.
Yeah, you can just see a little bit of side-by-side contact between the two of them. They'll stay okay, though. And that was down at Tarzanbach, the first corner of this racetrack. It is worth noting that first corner is incredibly banked, and that actually makes for a fantastic overtaking opportunity. But here is Graham Carroll versus Martin van Loozenhoorn. We're on board then with Graham Carroll. He was pretty much side-by-side through 4 and 5 into 6, and, well, Graham Carroll wants that race lead right now. Carroll doing a fantastic job running himself in P2, trying to get himself to the race lead. Your moves and shakers in the race so far, in the top 10, Yuhu Abe is the only driver to make up 1 position.
Yes, at the moment it seems that everyone's just holding station at the moment, but you see how desperate Carroll is to get in front of Van Loozenhoorn right now. We saw them fight incredibly hard, I think it was last Friday at Spa-Francorchamps, and, well, they're looking to try and do it again. Hopefully we could possibly see a race finish as close as what we saw in the 2K Oval last night, where it all went down to the final straightaway. But at the moment, Carroll looking to try and get that run on Van Loozenhoorn here through the final corner once again. Already, we're going to look to start the 4th lap, and already you can see the effect that it's having no slipstream towards slipstream.
Yeah, here comes Graham Carroll then, looking himself down to the outside, in towards turn of 1. They come once again, and, well, Carroll tries to work that outside line here. This banks we talked about, but he's not able to take the race lead away just yet. Into 2, into 3, on board still with Graham Carroll. As you see, who'll have to fall back in line just for the time being. But behind him, Shawhorse there in the number 22 machine has caught back up. So that battle is still going. Down in your field, there's no real battles going on, except for right at the rear, you've got Matthias Wieger and Cristobal Lopez. They are scrapping it out right now. But here we can see Justin Bremer. He is trying to close the gap for this scrap for P number 5. It's a 3-horse race between Yaltian, Sebastian Fusa, and Justin Bremer right now. So on board with that number 1 Club Indiana machine.
Oh, yes, we are, and we're looking at this here for Justin Brunner. He knows he's got Fluke behind him, his long-time rival, and he will want to get away past Velosa as quickly as he can. Yari Tien there, also, who's managed to find a way through on Velosa into turn number 1 earlier this lap. So this is where it's all going to come now, into this big braking zone here. They're going to head down to about 65 mile an hour before flicking it hard left. Straight afterwards, another bit of bank section there, and now they're going to find this run again. Because they're 5 astern, it's going to be disadvantaged Tayan, and, well, for Velosa and Brunner and Fluke and Bollock Bassi there, they are all going to try and use that slipstream effect to their advantage.
They are indeed, as they can see there. A look at some of these cars coming through our line, that corner, down towards the start-finish line again. Graham Carroll still remains in that 7th position. We have got ourselves a battle. We go on board then with the driver of
Well, contact!
Renner
It looks like Filosa and Brunner involved in that one there. That looked like a horrible incident there. Just seemed Filosa lost it in on braking, and then Brunner just ended up an innocent bystander. It promotes the likes of Jamie Fluke and Bollock Bassi up the field, but it has allowed Jari Tian to get away, Justin.
Yeah, here comes the replay. Here comes the replay. We're on board with Justin Brunner right now in that number 1 machine, down in towards turn number 1. Let's experience this one then on board with him. Oh, car just loses a heaven and comes across Justin Brunner. And, well, there's nothing there that Justin Brunner in that number 1 machine could have done at all. And it's one of these tragic circumstances. We'll get another look then from our aerial coverage. They worked themselves there behind the grandstand. It wasn't Brunner at all who was the incident. It was the guy just ahead of him. There you can see that is not the sort of incident anyone wants to be involved with. Brunner is the unfortunate circumstance there.
Oh, yes, I have to agree with you, but looking at the front, it seems Van Loosenhoorn is starting to pull out that little bit of a gap, that 4 or 5/10 breather that you normally get to see, which is allowing Carroll to fall back into the clutches of Freak Showthorst there at the moment. And, well, in this battle for the race lead, the battle for the podium, this is exactly what you want to see as they head onto lap number 6 out of 19.
We're on board with Freak Showthorst right now. As they come down in towards turn number 1, you can see on the outside, there will go Graham Carroll once again. Scrap for the race lead is going to allow Showthorst the chance to move himself then down to the inside in turn number 2. No, your top 3 though have pulled away. The gap between P3 and P4 up now to 3.3 seconds as they work themselves through the hairpin once again. But that was close between Carroll and Showthorst there, and that shows you that in turn number 1, if you're not fully committed, you could end up putting yourself into a very difficult situation. Let's have a look down then towards the rear part of your field. Sebastian Filosa, of course, we saw him. Of course, he was involved in that incident down in turn number 1 a couple of moments ago. He's now down into P number 13. He's got David Jarvis right behind him as they head themselves into 6.
Oh yes, and it looks like that car has damage on him, and that is causing him to be slowed down straight away because they're going to be side by side, and 2 into 1's not going to go, and David Jarvis is going to have to yield here to Jan Switzer, surely. Again, another right-hander only helps the likes of Jarvis, but Jarvis yields to Switzer right now, and they have to deal with the likes of Christian Takash behind, the same with Jürgen Frank, as they go side by side now into the right-hander, with the left-hander coming up. You just can't catch your breath at the back of the field, because behind Frank, it's Philippe Lebert, Mr. 2K Cup, looking to get in on the action as well. He'll have the inside now into the right-hander. Will he get that one sorted? Well, he's going to go inside of Takash as well, as he knows he gets caught up short, but he does get the position on Jürgen Frank.
Yeah, we're on board with Philippe Lebert right now in that number 3 Texas TNT racing machine. Well, that 2K World Cup driver, of course, we'll see him later on here tonight. But Jan Switzer, then he's going to try and see whether he can do a move on the round down in towards turn number 1. Oh, they're going to try and go 3 wide into that first corner. Oh, yes, they are. Here they come. 3 wide into 1, and your winner of this battle for the moment looks as though it is going to be that that Jan Switzer will come home in the second on that one, but the number 12 machine of David Jarvis will win out that battle. He now is up into P number 12. Fantastic 3 wide running in towards turn number 1. Van Loosenhoorn still leads, but that gap now down to 3 turns to a second. Your top 3 drivers, well, they're separated now by just half a second on the racetrack.
Oh, yes, and I have to say, this is fantastic battle as Loosenhoorn tries to defend against Graham Carroll, who dives up the inside there, shouting the wrong name. I am, but I don't really mind, because they're going to remain side by side as they head towards the right-hander of 10 and then the left of 11 here. It will be advantage Loosenhoorn on the entry, and there's going to be contact between the 2, and that's Graham Carroll around, and Freak Showthorst there will just barge his way through. Thank you very much. That's a bit of a cheeky manoeuvre, but Van Loosenhoorn now has escaped, and he will look to try and make sure he can solidify everything going on further on into the race.
Yeah, let's get ourselves a super slow-mo look then. And this is the scrap that you saw between Graham Carroll just getting turned around there by that number 22 machine of Frank Zohorst, and Graham Carroll, as a consequence now, is down into P number 6 in this event. You can see the number 22 machine taking evasive action, but Graham Carroll had to spin that car around. Thankfully, he didn't actually hit anyone when he did so, then took himself to the gravel, but Graham Carroll now down into 6th place in this event. That means that Martin Van Loosenhoorn now has himself a 1.9 second advantage over Freak Showthorst in this scrap for your race lead. And behind Well, you got yourself now Jardine in third, Jamie Fluke in fourth, and Sembulik Bassi running at your top 5. Top 8 on the bottom of your screen, but outside of your top 10, here comes the driver we're riding on board with right now. It's number 16 machine, hunting down Philip Noel in that battle for the last step inside your top 10.
Yes, it seems Simone Maria Marcheno there is going to try and hunt down Philip Noel, who runs very wide, and that is a gift of gifts there for Noel, who will lose not just one position, not just 2, but possibly 3 as he almost collects Jan Switter coming back onto circuit. So that's a disadvantage there. He goes from being 10th down to 13th, and that will just put him into the clutches of other drivers behind, likes of Leibert, likes of Jürgen Frank. But everything now is just needing to cool down from these guys. They are the top of the top, but they're all looking a little bit desperate at the moment in order to try and find a way through. As I say that, Leibert all over the back of Jan Switter.
Yeah, we just saw that, a replay of Philip Noel, and actually, it seemed to be that he messed up the corner before. That was turn number 6, and that just meant he pushed wide on the run into 7, couldn't actually catch in any way, shape or form. The racetrack went onto the grass, and the grass is slippery here. You end up putting yourself into a situation where you cannot slow that car down at all. Sembulik Bassi running himself in P number 9 right now. He has got himself some company though. That is the driver of Simone Maria Marcheno in the number 16 Club Italia car, as they work themselves now through turn number 3, up through the hill they will come once again. And Marcheno, we've seen him a couple of times already in this event, but Bassi as well. But Bassi we thought might have been a little bit higher up in this field, but he's running in P number 9, no one ahead of him, but behind him, he's got a huge amount of pressure right now.
Yes, he does, and he's had incident with Graham Carroll earlier on in the lap, which has forced him back down the field at the moment, and Marcheno is all over the back of Bollock Bassi right now, and you have to say there might be a bit of damage on that Renault 2.0 of Bollock Bassi's, because he is in trouble, and he is looking like he is being hounded hand over fist by Marcheno, who will look to try and get a run here down into the difficult right-hander here of turn number 10. Can he get the move sorted? Answer that one is they're going to be side by side, and it's an easy one. It's comfortable and it's through. So Bollock Bassi there admitting that Maria Marcheno there is faster, and now he'll have to worry because he's got Noel and Jarvis, and of course Jan Schwitter looking to be hot on the heels.
What a great race we're having so far. As Sure Horse has just set the fastest lap of the motor race last time by. He was way faster than Lusenhorn, but we have got a car that was just slow. We're going to get ourselves a quick replay of this one if we can. It is Justin Marcel, and this is down in your field here. And oh, a 2-car incident. There you can see, just tagging the wall with the number 23 machine, as he's now going to be classified as way down the field. P22, the second to last driver on the lead lap, just nudging the barriers there. But unfortunately, his day is not what he would have wanted to have seen here at Zandvoort. Back up through your field then. We still got ourselves a 4-car train. At the front of this is Sembulik Bassi, behind is David Jarvis and Philip Noel and Jan Shooter. And down to the inside will go Philip Noel in the scrap for position. But Bassi unable to defend, and almost another car running over him. That is Jan Shooter. He now goes down to the inside in towards turn number 6. And well, you can see that Bullet Bassi's car is suffering now from some damage.
Yes, and I'll give a representative of what's going on. It's kind of like we saw in the female Oxford Cambridge boat race there we saw, where the Cambridge boat started to sink, and well, that's what's happening with Bollock Bassi here. The damage is dragging his car down into the floor, and he is just hemorrhaging time to absolutely everyone as Leibert finds himself comfortably through, getting a bit of a twitch though, which means that he's going to have to be a little bit careful down the front straightaway. But now Jürgen Frank will want a piece of the action on Bollock Bassi. Now Vergo will want a piece of the action. Now Cristobal J. Lopez will want action. And also Christian Takash in the next lap.
Wow. Out front, we can see that last time by, Sure Horse was faster than Lusenhorn. Then Lusenhorn responded. That last time by, he was faster. David Jarvis, side by side there with Philip Noel in towards turn number 1. Who's going to be the winner out of this one? Well, the answer is going to be clear. It is going to be the driver of Philip Noel who will take that position. He moves himself now into the top 10. David Jarvis relegated into the 11th position.
Oh, yes, he is, and it was a fantastic move to watch. Very good driving from the pair of them as they run themselves now up this left and right section here. One of the quickest sections on the circuit into the series of 3 consecutive right-handers. Well, I might be wrong in saying that. Here they come into the second part of the 3 rights here, and well, it's just getting slower and slower each time. You're just having to pay attention here as you head into the 3rd right before you hit the first left for a very long time that you've challenged. And well, Jarvis is not going to want to relinquish anything, because you look at Maria Marcheno starting to pull away at the moment. This is all going to come down to who has the most nerve and who can keep their car out of the walls the most in order to find out who will be the one taking the lower half of the top 10 here tonight.
Let's give a shout out to the driver of Perez. He is up 5 places in this event here today. You can see last time by he did a 132.268. He comes past the start finish line again. His last 3 laps have actually been within 1/10 of a second of each other. Perez doing a good job right now, running himself in P6, catching up to the rear of Graham Carroll, and his last 3 laps being that consistent, that has been very, very good for him.
Oh yes, absolutely, and for Marc Perez, he'll look to try and catch Graham Carroll, who of course qualified on the front row of the grid, and who wouldn't want to try and catch a iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series driver? I mean, who wouldn't, because he is really a driver who finds himself at the pinnacle of iRacing at the moment, and any opportunity in any car to catch a driver like him will be one surely worth experience in the memory banks. But what you do have to say is the gap is abstaining at the front between Van Loozenhoorn and Schothorst. It's around 1.5 seconds at the moment, and that is just out of range for what Schothorst wants to do to stay in slipstream momentum.
For those asking, yes, we're going to be with you every Sunday where we can. There are 1 or 2 weeks when we have got other contractual obligations, but apart from that, we're going to be with you every single Sunday. This is Formula Renault 2.0 on board with Matthias Wigger right now. Half a second between himself and Jürgen Frank. Battle for P14 going on track. There are some fantastic scraps going on up and down your field. Matthias Wigger working himself down in P14. It's the second half of the field, but he's still doing himself a fantastic job of navigating this racetrack, as we now go on board with Jürgen Frank in that number 9 Club DX machine out the final corner. Now talk us through these first couple of corners, because Jake, it's very, very tough there.
Oh yes, absolutely. Overtaking is really, you find it a minimal around the circuits. You look at Jürgen Frank now, starting to close in on the slipstream. You head into this bank turn number 1 corner, and it's not even a right hand. Well, it is a right-hander, but it's one that you'll normally find that you're going too wide, it doesn't work. Now you head into turn number 2, which is kind of the momentum change into 3, which is another big left-hander that banks itself. As now you head into this big back straightaway, you're constantly going right, constantly going left. Car is always changing, always switching, and if you're within 0.6 of a second, you have the opportunity to close in the gap. Otherwise, you'll be starting to fall further and further away.
Yeah, we're on board then again with Jürgen Frank. This is that fantastic gyro account that really shows from the driver's perspective how things are going on the racetrack. Out front, Martin Van Loozenhoorn here, lap 13 of 19. He has got himself now a 1.2 second advantage over Frick Schothorst. The question is now going to be, can Van Loozenhoorn keep that momentum? 5 laps to go this time by, and Jake, it's going to be the case of, can he just manage that gap? He doesn't need to put it out any further. He wants to keep it, though, in that 1 second advantage, as Schothorst just sets the fastest lap of this motor race.
Oh, well, when you got the guy behind you setting fastest lap after fastest lap, what can you do? With 1 second being an advantage, well, a psychological disadvantage for the guy in front, he'll just start to lose time, but you generally find, compared to the Star Mazda, that you have the slipstream range being a lot shorter than you would normally expect. So you look at Van Loozenhoorn, that 1 second will feel like 1.5, because for Schothorst, he'll have to close in a lot more in order to try and make sure he gets Van Loozenhoorn. And with 5 laps to go, it's going to be a really interesting one to see if Schothorst can put the hammer down.
This is a lovely little shot here of the guys working themselves through turn 4 and turn 5. It is that ultra fast sweeper. You can just see there, Semble it Bassey, then 1, 2, 3 race cars working themselves through that section of racetrack. And it's a wonderful vantage point there to see these guys, as out front, Schothorst has closed that gap now down within 1 second. Now, in towards the Audi S. Now, in towards the turn 12, 13 sequence of corners. We're down to 5 to go. And, well, Schothorst is back in the game. The gap, 7/10 of a second, 5 to go. Showhorse is on the move.
Oh, most definitely. And Showthorst, remember what happened with Graham Carroll. He did have a bit of contact, but it looks like the damage hasn't affected him. And now he'll want to find a way past the last remaining Apex Racing driver in order to get himself a famed TV victory here tonight. And well, he's really looking for it, because now he's trying to maximize all of his road tax here on the road, because he wants to make sure he's on the back. And well, it looks like he's closed the gap enough, and now we are really in for a final 5-lap showdown.
Here comes Matthias Wigger. He's down in P number 14. He has still got Jurgen Frank behind him to go on board of him. But let's go back to the front of your field. Martin van Loozenhoorn last time by a 132.4. Last time by for Frick Showhorse, it was a 131.8. Showhorse caught 6/10 of a second in just one lap. And now he's right on the rear as they come down in towards the Audi S. Once again, there's going to be 4 to go this time by. Catching is one thing, passing is another, but Showhorse looks as though he's managed those tyres, and now he's got a chance to win this motor race.
Oh yes, I have to agree with you, and momentum out of this next corner will be paramount to see if there'll be an overtake. And well, he looks like he's in range here, Will. He looks like he's got the opportunity to go through, and now you're just going to see this gap close up more and more and more as they hit the front straightaway. And now this is where the pressure starts to tell as 4 laps to go. Comes up on the clock, he moves to the inside, shows his nose. No, not this time by, but we still have 4 more opportunities down that front straightaway, and wherever he can find it anywhere else. This is sensational stuff. This is the battle for what is a memorable race.
And you know what? Last time by, Showhorse once again set the fastest lap of this motor race. Looking from the rear now of Martin van Loozenhoorn in that Club Benelux car, and you will see this gap come down on the run into turn 6 and 7. But this isn't really a passing opportunity. You're going to be brave to make a pass down into Marlborough Box. But as it stands, Van Loozenhoorn still leads this motor race. Passing opportunities, I always debate this one here, Jake. You've got turn 10 into the LDS, but you need to have yourself a very good run out of turn number 9, the Vodafone corner, in order to do so. And that time by, I don't think Showhorse was quite close enough.
No, and what's also to be mentioned in the Audi S, you really do have to make a block pass into turn 10 to make sure you open out turn number 11 and get the run down the front straightaway to make sure you're away. At the moment, this is a game of cat and mouse between Showthorst and Martin van Loozenhoorn, and it might be one where the roles will reverse down this front straightaway. They're going to come out of the final corner now. Will Showthorst look to make a move? He's closer than he was last time by, so he closes the gap more and more and more, and now he'll move. No, he'll go defensive, and he'll have to take to the outside here. Will Showthorst side by side into turn 1, and Showthorst tries to run the outside, and they're going to remain side by side, but the advantage is with Van Loozenhoorn into turn number 2, and I think they're going to remain side by side.
Oh!
They don't touch. Oh my word, Showthorst around. Van Loozenhoorn inherits the race lead, and surely the race win as well.
Oh my word, Showhorse there down in turn number 2. Well, let's ride this one then, on board with him through turn number 1 and turn number 2. And Jake, we always say that Zandvoort is a track that can break hearts. It's done so here today.
Oh, absolutely, but it hasn't broken his spirit, because he's still up in a podium position. He does have Jari Tayen up ahead of him, who has been very choice. But now, with just 3 laps to go, 2 when they cross the line, can he close down on Thean, or will the likes of Jamie Fluke in the 5 machine start to make his move, start to make the catch, Will?
So here's one more look then at the battle for the race lead, and here was Showhorse. He looked himself down to the inside, to the outside even. He wasn't able to get the move done immediately. Then they ran side by side in turn number 2, and you can see the 2 cars coming together once. They came across twice, and well, that number 22 machine then tagging the tyre barriers just a little bit as well. Freak Showhorse, unfortunately now down into P number 3, but that car can continue. We still, though, have ourselves a couple of battles to the left to the side here in this event. And well, Philippe Lever, David Jarvis, they are scrapping it out right now. We're on board with Philippe Lever. 7/10 of a second is the gap right now, and Labour is catching Jarvis.
Yes, he is. You talk about a driver who clicks with certain cars. You can talk about it with the likes of Gregor Hutu, who finds himself very good in that Williams FW31. So Labour not really having everything his own way here at the moment in this Formula Renault 2.0. It seems that he can't catch Jarvis at the moment because these trains that are forming up with Schwitter and Knoll ahead of them, it is all up with everything going on. It's all about momentum, and momentum is not working out at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I just have a slight issue right now. We're trying to change the camera here, we promise, but we've got a couple of issues, so there we are. Now we can change it away, of course. We know you love Philippe Labour, however, he runs himself in P number 13 right now. He's got himself David Jarvis just ahead of him. Don't forget, Skip Barber 2K World Cup will be later on tonight here on Racesport TV, streaming live, of course, also on iRacing Live. One other battle that is worth thinking about. Here we can see we're on board with Mark Perez. He's catching up to the rear of Graham Carroll. That last time by, the two guys were pretty much identical in their lap times, but here we come then. One to go, Jake. Perez versus Carroll. It's going to be a hard task, though, for Perez to catch up and get past Carroll on this final lap of this motor race.
Oh, well, it's going to be a difficult one to notice because Mark Perez, despite the fact that he'll start to close in that gap more and more, he will have to try and work a way past on a circuit which is notoriously difficult to try and make a move sorted. Into turn number one, they'll come along. And, well, you look at the gap of being around 0.8 of a second, 0.7 of a second right now. That is difficult, and it is really something that you have to try and work with. But I think he's just about running out of time.
Here we can see the cars working themselves on the exit of turn number 3. This is that hairpin. Hagen Holtzbot as well. You'll see now Martin van Loozenhoorn coming down towards the end of this event. He has himself a 3.7 advantage. As they can see your movers and shakers in this race. Got to give a shout out to Gotch. He's your biggest mover inside of your top 10. But Martin van Loozenhoorn, it may well be a controversial win, but it looks as though that at this stage of the day, he is going to win out anyway. Down into the LDS for the final time. He will come. Turn number 10. He ticks it through now into 11. That very difficult 180-degree left-hander settles the car down into turn 12 for the final time. As soon as he gets out of this corner, he can pretty much get himself on the gas and bring that car home. Martin van Loozenhoorn in the number 7 Club Benelux machine will win out here in this Sunday edition of the Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. Jartinen will make it a Club Benelux 1, 2, and Frex Showhorse will round out your podium. I will say one thing here. Top 2 there for Club Benelux. I think that's what that country really needs here. Benelux, P1, P2. A fantastic showing there by two fantastic Belgian drivers.
Oh yes, I have to agree with you on that one, but you have to look at drivers down in the lower splits, and there is a driver actually going a lot quicker than both of them. Look out for the name in the future. His name's Govan Keeney, and he will look to challenge these likes. I've seen him faster in practice, but for now, Loozenhoorn and Tien, they've done a fantastic job, and they've proven why they are at the top of the Formula Renault calendar at the moment.
Here we are then. Here is Jason Marichel into the final corner. He will come as he's scrapping out for P number 20. We'll show you all the action here. This is at the rear of the field, but it was Marchel trying to find himself then a run towards start-finish line against Angus Wednell, but he will not be able to do so. He will come home in the 20th position, the last driver on your lead lap. Well, that's the number 1 machine. In terms of iRating, he is going to hate this afternoon.
Oh yes, it's not been the right day for Justin Brunner, and he's been struggling with the car as much as anyone else has in this Formula Renault. It's not been the right day for him, and he'll be looking to try and recuperate some more iRating later on in the week and over the next coming weeks. That's an awful result for him after qualifying 6th.
So then, let's get yourself a look at your final race results here from fantastic Circuit Park Zolder. And here's a look at your final race results. As you'll see, Martin van Loozenhoorn wins out by 3.5 seconds over Jartinen. Freek Shawhorst comes home in 3rd. Jamie Fluke in 4th. Graham Carroll in 5th. You'll see the rest of your top 10 and then remainder results on your screen. It's interesting to note, we talked about Jamie Fluke for about 20 seconds in this event. P4 for him. Fantastic job.
Oh yes, and Jamie Fluke is one of these drivers who can just put consistency down on the plate and then look at exactly what he can do. We saw it in the iRacing World Cup, where he finished behind Sebastian Job in second place in the road split. And he's just one of these drivers who has the ability just to turn on the magic when he wants to. But when it comes to consistency, there really isn't that many drivers who can actually match him for a clientele like that.
Yep, and there is the remainder of your results. Yuhu Abe, we talked him up, of course. Unfortunately, out of this event early on here today. Sebastian Fluser coming home at the very rear of your field. Well, that was a Sunday edition of the Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. But Jake, later on today, you know what I'm going to do right now, don't you?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I'm going to play some music. We got ourselves a Skip Hub 2K World Cup. It'll be here. It'll be live on Racesport TV, streaming live on iRacing Live. A new championship, and it will be starting at Lime Rock Park.
Oh, it's going to be a fantastic race at Lime Rock Park. Don't get me wrong, it's a really lovely circuit to be driving around. It's a driver's circuit. And well, Will, I'll be looking forward to it as much as you will.
Well, thank you so much for everyone who's been a part of our coverage this afternoon. Don't forget, we're back for more racing tonight. It is Sunday Night Skippies, a part of Racesport TV Primetime. We hope you've enjoyed this Sunday afternoon edition of the iRacing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. For more information about Racesport TV, visit us. Don't forget, /Racesport TV on Facebook, @Racesport TV on Twitter. We shall talk to you all next time. Bye-bye.